Yes, no problem, no problem.
And we are live, I think. Hello, guys. I'm busy pouring milk into my coffee, and Zaak has just, oh God, I'm spilling everywhere. That's what she said. And Zaak is busy sorting out his technical difficulties. Goeienaand, luisteraars. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Zaak. Lekker om uiteindelik met jou 'n livestream te kan doen en jou cool produkte en wat het jy gesê? Ek het lekker gebraai. Here, ek het met I struggled. I made the amateur mistake of buying wet garage wood. And unlike some people that everything they touch gets wet, I don't have that. The wood was already wet and it caused huge problems for me. But anyway, my eyes are red from all the smoke. And we're going to have a fun podcast, or rather fun live stream, because Zaak, you've got a really cool logo there behind your head, actually.
Cool, thanks, man. Yeah, office needed something, so decided one day to quickly make something on the CNC, and off you go. It's a great thing about CNC machines, you know.
Yeah, they can make whatever you're creative enough to make. And you've got a really cool story about how you got to this point from having a printing business to now being into manufacturing handmade wooden frame sunglasses, which are really a really cool product. And if you want to find Zaak, by the way, I'll link to him later, but he is on the Paratus business database under New Damage Eyewear. So, Zaak, I'm going to give the floor to you. You tell us how you got here and what your journey's been like.
Well, I don't think I'm going to start in 1978 in Kempton Park Hospital. I think that might be a bit of a long story. But basically, the main thing started about 6 years ago. Left the corporate world, decided to help my dad with his small printing business. And, started off there, had a couple of guys working for him, ended up, just being myself. And, just did the print finishing for the industry, actually. So it's hot foil stamping, die cutting, embossing, that kind of thing. And, last year, it's about exactly a year ago, I decided, I had two of the same Heidelberg presses, rather replace that asset with something, that can bring in extra money. It's hardly ever that I ran both machines at the same time. So I decided to sell one of the presses. It literally sold to the first person on the same day that I found them. And a week later, I had my CNC. I had no idea how to run the thing. So it was a big learning curve, watching YouTube tutorials at night, old Lars Kirstensen doing fusion tutorials. So
that sounds familiar.
A lot of time with yeah. So, I mean, it's amazing what you can learn on YouTube. If you go for a Saturday fusion course, it's probably something like 7,000 Rand. I don't think you learn the same that you would in an hour, watching a YouTube tutorial by yourself. So that's the great thing about that. And the sunglasses, over a couple of beers, a friend mentioned, why don't you start wooden sunglasses? I'm like, okay, that's going to be easy. 10 months later, it's not so easy.
Yeah.
Hours and hours of mistakes and bugger ups and different wood and different machining techniques. But the more you learn, the faster certain things happen, and the more creative you can get with the whole thing. And that's where we are at now. So basically, it's now just making stock and getting the brand out there. And that's the main thing.
And that's a cool thing. When you first planted your product and I looked at it, I fell in love with what I saw.
Shamelessly on your post.
Hey, listen, you know me by now. I love small businesses and I love entrepreneurship and I love people pivoting. Right now, none of us, I think, are doing, a few people might still be able to do what they were originally qualified to do. Whenever that happened. But it's been such a colossal clusterfuck that you kind of have to adapt or die. And for a lot of people, that means following a passion. I'm forced to follow a passion. I've never been busier in my life for less money, but the potential's there. And I love what you're doing. I love what you're making. I think it's an awesome product, and the process behind it and how you just the email you wrote me was very descriptive about how you started it, and with the CNC machining. So tell us a little bit about the process. So obviously the wood you have to source locally, and the lenses you
Yes.
still have to import, right? Or do you also manufacture the lenses?
No, it's lenses and hinges. Basically, the lenses arrived with me in blanks like this. So they basically square blanks, and then I've actually found a way to machine them myself. I used an optometrist just up the road that used to do them for me. And I decided, then you've got to wait. Someone else is involved. That type of scenario takes away the profit and all of that. So I decided, no, I've got to find a way to do it. And started, making jigs and things like that. And eventually it works. I'm still looking at ways of doing it a little bit better, but it works just fine. So the lenses are then machined myself. Wood I source locally. Basically, it starts off in big sheets of maple and sapele wood. Then they get glued. I basically make my own ply, bend the ply in an actual mold that was manufactured designed by myself and manufactured on the machine as well, which is great. Still want to make that out of a type of a nylon, just for the glues and stuff, not to actually stick to it. And then it gets pre-bent, and then it actually goes into the machine. I've got a little short video that I did and posted on Facebook that, more or less can see the process, and then start machining it from there, basically. And then the little temples get machined. So yeah, it's not that easy. And there's a hell of a lot that goes into it before it's the actual product,
I can imagine. And just to everyone on the comment section, hello, goeienaand, good evening from both myself and Zaak, by the way. We see you. We see all of you guys. That is a heck of a process. And you've already had more than one celebrity customer that you got your glasses to. You had
yeah, it's basically
a MotoGP one.
Yeah, a certain MotoGP ride. I'm not sure if I can punt it or whatever, but with I'm going to anyways.
Yeah, go for it anyway.
With Brad Binder, it's basically heard that he was going to have like a meet and greet at one of the pubs close by in Edenvale, and I decided, here's my chance. I'm going to make him one and see if I can meet the guy and just give it to him. Maybe he likes it and see where it goes. Arrived there 2 hours early. And as I walked in, I saw Robert Portman, which is, I've got to give a shout out to, from Ride Fast magazine. He helps me a lot, punts my product, and we're still going to do some awesome things. I'm busy actually with a couple of pairs for him, and they basically race a Ducati motorbike. And, he actually put
brand
me up
of
as one of his
motorbike.
sponsors. For sure, awesome. That race bike's like a 800k motorbike. It's in the magazine and everything. So I'm making him a special pair, and he always, punts me. But anyways, as I walked into the bar, I actually saw Robert Portman. And, I asked him, would he be able to give these glasses to Brad? And he's like, no, dude, he's just parking now. You give it to him yourself. And that's where that started. I never thought that he would wear them. And he actually, I would see pics of him in Sepang in Japan wearing them. So I made another pair for the guy. And so maybe on the 19th of July, we'll see my sunglasses on the starting grid. We'll see.
Well, please say, please send me the link, because I'd like to punt it on my page, because not only, obviously, you read the shit I write and you watch some of my videos, and you're a shooter. And you're a shooter yourself. I mean, you do IPSC and a couple of the other gun games, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. But I mean, everyone, I think, in the audience is on 10 Turks. How about you show us some of the stuff you've made? Show us your products, Zaak. Come on, don't be shy.
Well, wait, before I get there, from the previous business, I actually thought I'd keep this one out, and I actually had to go look for it, because I don't think you received one from, this is what I used to do, the foiling.
Yeah.
Still do some of it, but this was a certain Minister of Transport's Christmas cards, which I don't think you would have received one. Hey, I don't think you.
No. I'm definitely not on his list of Christmas cards. For sure. That's a fact.
Her list. It was at that time. It was the her.
Her. Okay. No, then I was definitely not on her list.
For sure. I did shout out to the guys from the Narrow as well. Did their last CD cover. So
yes, I've listened to so much of their music at a stage. Like we have epic rock bands and artists
for
in this
sure,
country when it comes to that stuff.
definitely.
Sorry, I'm
It's the
busy
only way I
pouring
could
coffee
get
while I'm
myself.
talking to you.
No problem. Basically, the only way I could get into a CD cover as a bassist, but it was now Zaak, courtesy of, So it's one of those things. But anyways, this is basically the stressed look, which I actually think is
That's
if
pretty
a
hot.
Rammstein song, if a Rammstein song was a sunglass, that type of scenario.
I dig that.
So
You've got two types though. You've got the distressed look, which is what's called
at the moment,
that's the apocalypse.
and that's the plain look. Yeah,
That's the plain.
and I just called this one rusty. So it's got like a rusty look.
Oh.
And this is more like a Eddie Vedder, Into the Wild type of scenario.
Yes.
And then I've
Very much.
Got a little present for you as well. So I made you a special pair with your little logo on
It's
it.
got the trigger on it. That is epic.
And your apparatus on the inside.
Okay, so to the audience, how about we run a special edition limited run on this? Because
that's it. So it's got it there. There you go. And then basically on the first bunch that I'm going to do, I'm going to give a free minimalist wallet with it. That's also made. And I'm actually busy with your little one. Dropped it there. That's yours.
Oh, that's epic.
So just to add some value to the product, to get the sales going, offer that as a freebie and get it out there. That's the main thing.
So the next thing, though, everyone in the comment section is going like questions about lenses, which we're going to get to now, but price. Cool. Firstly, I know for a fact that your product's price is, as far as this type of design goes, it's hell of a reasonable. And I think, what are you retailing them at? Tell the people.
This model will retail for 700. So that's X shipping, all of that, but 700. And if you compare, usually the handmade type of stuff starts at around 1,000, 3,500 Rand. You do get absolutely some mass-produced ones that you can probably get at the same price as mine. But, they manufacture thousands of those. When you have this, my capacity would probably be max about 50 a month. Making them myself, I don't have anyone else doing it. So that's it's still going to be exclusive. You're not going to walk around in somewhere and see someone else wearing them.
I was about to say you're buying a limited edition real Zaak Kriel product. Yeah, I mean it's not New Damage Eyewear. You are New Damage Eyewear. It's not. This is not something.
Whole process.
Exactly. So it's a unique piece. So the lenses, are they polarized? That's the one question.
Yes. They're polarized UV 400, So they are polarized.
There you go, guys. So you've got high quality lenses, and you are going to go shooting with yours, I presume.
Well, it crossed my mind to see if I can get into that as a safety glass, and still looking into that. That's probably still some ways off to get it certified as a safety glass. The lenses are CE rated, so the guys drop test the stuff and all of that. But I'm not sure about that yet. I don't want to sell it as such, and rather
and then
more. Maybe get some more info on that.
So if you want to go shoot with them, you can, but Zaak isn't going to tell you to do it. So
yes, exactly.
There's that.
Look, I've had some ricochets myself that drew blood. So
Well, to be honest,
always comes back.
I'm not going to go shooting with mine. I'm not going to go get them scratched for no reason. I'm going to be wearing them because I'm going to definitely buy more than one pair from you. Awesome. And I've already got a request for a set of Paratus glasses, but the customer would prefer orange lenses, so I'll just put that out there.
Got the green. I've got the orange as well.
Awesome. Okay, now
blue is coming.
Okay, so everyone wants to know, where do they order? Can they see some more samples? Okay, Zaak's got a really cool Facebook page. Just go into Facebook, New Damage Eyewear. You see a lot of the stuff he makes on there already. Where else can they find you format of interest?
Instagram, and then I'm still busy. That's another thing about being a one-man show. You don't pay anyone to do anything. You want to do everything yourself. So I'm still busy sorting out my actual online store. So they will be for sale on Facebook first, Facebook shop. And, still trying with all the FTP servers and uploading stuff and, the themes and all of that, still getting behind all of that. The last time I did any support on PCs or anything was on Windows 98 back in the late 90s. So, yeah, I'm a bit rusty when it gets to that type of stuff. And, so at first it would be Facebook, and started from there, And as soon as I've got enough stock, I'll actually put them on there.
Yeah, and you know what? Since my e-store is busy being built, if it's going to work for you, I'd love to host your product on there, because I think it's really, really cool. If it's going to make life easier for you, and then I'll just make sure that we'll do it through the same payment portal, and then I just make sure you get your money and the details of the people who buy it, and you can ship more. But I know at the moment it's definitely going to have a case of Zaak can only make so many a given day. And they're all unique. This is the other thing. You don't make something that's standard. This is the other part of the conversation we've had. They're all slightly different. So whatever you buy is not going to be the same as what somebody else has.
Exactly,
it's going to be unique to you as a person.
It depends what I listen to at night in the workshop, how much I sand them, or if it's something like Rammstein or whatever, maybe there's a bit more sanding going on, or whatever the case,
Exactly. So now I've got people asking me for the link to New Damage Eyewear. So let me see if I can post the link. Let me try this.
Cool.
I'm I'm busy finding you. There we go. It's actually it's a very simple link. I'm going to try post it in the comment section. Let's see if this happens. Let's see if this happens, guys. Whoops. I think it went. I think it posted. But for those who it didn't post for, I'll just make a banner and I'll put it on. So it's basically / new damage NDE on the FBs, and you will find Zaak there. And let me just leave that up there for a bit longer. While we're busy shooting the breeze.
I always tend to get myself in this position where something like this happens. The stream, me and you talking, and then I'm still busy making stock. So it's always the kind of the cart in front of the horse type of thing, and then I battle to get stuff finished or whatever. And it seems like that's always the case. It's something that happens on the fly, and you just go with it. But eventually it will get there. As soon as I've got the stock, I'll actually take a photo of each one that I've made. So the one that you order is the actual one on the photo. Yep. So it's not going to be a generic photo and kind of off you go.
Because your production process now, the lenses are going to be the same quality, and the type of engraving that you do is going to be the same, but the finish is all going to be slightly different. So would you mind just showing us the one you made for Paratus again? Because that is just... and they ask, can you fit prescription lenses?
Look, probably the actual optometrist that I used, he actually will measure the frame, and on the inside of the frame, the way his machine works, it actually has got a little feeler gauge, and it actually measures the inside of the slot that's in there, and then it actually cuts the lens. So I most probably would be able to. It's still got the protective layer on yours, so I don't want to scratch it. But there's your Paratus on the inside.
Dude, that's epic. That is absolutely epic.
And to be honest, hinges as well. So it's little spring hinges, just to keep it a bit tighter on your face.
And you managed to get the font and the logo just off an electronic resource. So
that's right. Yeah. So the little Chinese program that I use just traces it. So.
Yeah. The cat says it looks flat. Should be able to like an Oakley. So there you go. Like that. That pretty much.
Well, that's about the bend on them. So it's kind of the Oakley Holbrook type of waferer type of look. that's basically most of your wooden eyewear goes like that. I'm still busy experimenting with some other stuff. I think the next route would be to actually machine one out of solid wood, get nice oak or wenge or something along the lines, and machine it out of a solid piece of wood. Obviously, the machining takes a hell of a lot longer. You're looking at I would guess about 4 hours per sunglass. But that's the next one I want to go to. The good thing with using and making your own ply, it's literally, you can actually bend them. It's a lot stronger than a solid piece of wood. So that's basically why I use the ply technique as well.
Yes, like Zaak, but how long did it take you to do? I mean, you've been doing this for a while. Obviously, this isn't your first rodeo, but this isn't.
Okay, about that long. Those are all flops and versions, and I now call that the necklace of shame. So if I bugger something up in the workshop, I make myself wear that and walk around naked and screaming shame, that type of scenario. But no, it's taken a long time. I tell you, it's crazy. When I had a look at some of the guys in the US that make them, you kind of steal with your eyes in the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Just to find out more or less how the actual process works. So you don't look at the product, your eyes focus on the workshop in the background. And those guys said that they spent about 18 months in R&D, and I thought, no, man, I can do this a lot quicker. So, well, I'm 10 months in. It's been quite a journey to get them right, and it's an ongoing thing. That's also why as I progress, different models, probably the solid ones would be a bit more expensive, and a bit more special, that type of scenario where you add something different to it, or use a different wood, or whatever the case might be.
Yes, but to be honest, for a pair of handmade, polarized sunglasses in South Africa for 700 Rand retail price, that's just...
I might be shooting myself in the foot, but that's it,
But also, I got the proofs for my caps today, and I'm also retailing them to the extent that I've cut deep into my profit margin. But ultimately, both of us are trying to establish a brand and get consumer confidence going. And you always can roll out more special stuff later that you can, more high end that you retail for slightly more, and people will be willing to pay for it because they believe in the quality. They understand that it is quality. So what we're basically telling you guys is get the stuff now on the first run while we're still finding our feet, because if demand picks up, it might become a little bit more expensive, although nobody's going to rip anyone off. But if you want to steal, and 700 Rand a pair is a bloody steal, get them now.
Well, it's it's everything from I actually do the packaging myself as well. So just to give you an idea, I'm still gonna look at more exotic papers. But anyways, with my machine, I actually die cut the box. Okay, so there you go. Die cut the box, ends up being a box, and then I'm gonna hot foil stamp the actual logo on it. That's also a CNC process. That with heat and pressure, you actually hot foil the logo on the box. And
that's epic.
Yeah, so from the packaging up to the actual sunglasses, and I made this one myself today, little small one on the machine. So that's kind of like a security feature, that I'll also put on the box.
That is awesome. And the cool thing is, this is a locally manufactured product, guys. You're not importing your wood from China. You are actually getting your stuff here, and you are making it in your own workshop. And this is the thing. So we're all about getting as local as we can, because that's what makes sense. That's what we like. Well, as local as you can. The lenses you probably still have to source from elsewhere. So
that's right.
That's
and the hinges. I really battled to find a place or find hinges. And there's not a lot of guys that actually do it, especially for wood. It's a bit of a different thing. You've got little screws and things like that where the acetate guys, they actually melt them in. So in the beginning, I walked around flea markets buying up cheap sunglasses, melting out the hinges to see if I can get them to work. So that's basically, and actually thinking that it's viable, So it's grown quite a bit from there. So
Yeah, I have to say, like that's an interesting rags to riches story. Well, I mean, we're hoping it turns into riches big time because that's the whole plan. I just want to give a shout out to 3 people, which is Mareka Willemse, my favorite purple cow, as well as a co-host on Whiskey Friday. But Mareka is unfortunately back at work, so I'll only get her one Friday a month, which is sad. Herman, who is my favorite tobacco farmer, well, the only tobacco farmer I know. And then Graham McTaggart, who's my favorite anarchist, who wants us to diversify clearly into flamethrowers, which might be on the cards at some point. But
we'll have to give Elon a call and see if he can give us the plans.
Yeah, what's it called? The boring company.
And it's not a flamethrower.
It's not a flamethrower, apparently.
That's how they sell it. Yeah.
But tell us quickly about your. Let me just get Mareka's email address off the stream. Sorry, I just outed you horribly. But anyway, everyone can read the comments anyway. Tell us a bit about your shooting career. Well, career / how did you get into the whole gun thing? Did you grow up in a house that was quite firearm friendly, or did you also have to self teach?
No, it's basically grew up with firearms, but kind of lost the. I spent more time on motocross bikes and that type of scenario. Only got back into it I bought my Glock 2017, obviously got it 2018, and then just kind of jumped straight into IPSC and, shot my first match 23rd of Feb 2019. And shout out to the guys from SBSC, great club. A small club and great
smoking barrels. Is that Ricky and Brendan?
Yeah.
Brendan with his mismatched shoes, his red and blue combo.
Yep,
they're great guys. I did a lot of shooting with them last year or the year before when my club was closed. I did more IPSC shooting in Centurion than I did actually in the Cape. So awesome club! Like, cheers to you, no. a fellow smoking barrels.
Don't have whiskey though, but anyways.
Well, I've got coffee at the moment, so I need to chill on the drinking because my liver might die, and that would be bad. But okay, so you've been there since 2019, and how are you liking it? How are you? Because it is a friendly sport, so
for sure. Well, I ended up 4th in the club championship last year, which is great. Look, there's still a big gap from production, top guys like Anku and the guys. But, it's getting there. But now I don't think I'll hit anything with lockdown. And being so busy, no dry fire or anything like that, you'd rather, spend time designing till late at night or whatever the case is. But, we'll get back into it and just ease back into it. Hopefully it won't be like my first match where, you really think you can shoot till you shoot a match. It's something totally different. I dropped mags, or didn't seat the mags properly, and you go to present the name and the mag actually drops out. It's something horrific. Dude, and embarrassing. But then next week you're back and you go. It's crazy.
You know what? I think the day that things stop going wrong, if you're busy with shooting sports, is the day that it stops being fun, because there is a certain randomness of it, and a sheer terror of just not seating your magazine properly. The first shot goes off, nothing else happens, and you wonder why the trigger's dead, and you go, "Oh, it fell out. Whoops!" And you'd have to take like 2 seconds to figure that out, and then make sure you get a spare mag, and then you don't have enough ammunition to finish the Murva like high round count stage. So stuff like that happens. It's awesome.
Yeah, and being able to play the game, properly, because I mean, it is a game. It's not really a self-defense type of scenario, even though it makes you a better shooter, obviously.
Yeah, it helps with the fundamentals.
Some stages, taking yes, exactly. Taking a chance, it's a 15-round stage, and then you've obviously got 1 in the chamber, 15 in the mag, and you take that chance not to plan a mag change. And then obviously stuff happens, and you have to do a mag change.
Yeah,
and
you're forced to do
on
it.
one stage, yeah, on one stage, I should have rather left the last target and, left it as a mic, then do a mag change. And, everybody shouts, no, and you end up slow-mo going through the motions and actually, going for the shot. So there's a lot of game aspects you still need to learn. It's
But
one
it's
of
a
the
fun
big learning curves of the game.
it's a fun game, and I think like as long as you keep enjoy what you do, it adds value to your life. And again, it does help. It makes a difference to the fundamentals. It helps you
For sure.
practice them. What does Carl van Rooyen tell us? He's like late night designing a CNC router at the moment instead of try five. Okay, so you're not alone.
Yeah, that's a different. Designing one and making one is a totally different thing than using one. I can tell you that.
But and then Marika says, yeah, she's very familiar with dropping mags. I don't know if that's innuendo or if that's Marika being Marika, or if that's generally Marika referring to her shooting career, which is quite more impressive than my own. But yeah, IPSC is great. I actually encourage people to do shooting sports for that exact same reason. As even though, look, you're not there to try and improve your defensive shooting with sports. You're doing sports for a whole different reason. And it is a good way of keeping your fundamentals sharp in a nice competitive environment. And you actually get to, compare yourself to where you are with other people. And that's fun. That's always fun. Unless you're like me and you suck. But so talking about your collection of firearms, you've got the Glock 19 at the moment.
At this stage, it's the only one, but from my dad, basically, he's still alive, but inherited his Marlin 1894 lever action, and then a
yes,
6-inch
that's nice
Colt Python still in the box. So those would be the other two. So yeah, I've actually got to do the licensing soon. I keep on telling, okay, this week, but you know what it's like.
The COVID thing hasn't made it easy, as well as the trying to earn money to stay alive thing hasn't made it easy. I've got a huge soft spot for lever actions. Always wanted one. Sorry, you said the caliber of it, but I think
it's 357, but obviously you can shoot 38s in it as well.
Yes,
so
yeah, nice.
It's like actually the first real firearm I shot. I think it's still at what was it? Not Magnum, Marksman range in Joburg. At about 6 years old, that's the first one I actually shot. So still have it and still in mint condition. Reloading dies for it as well. Same with the 9mm, reload for that as well. It makes it a hell of a lot cheaper. It makes it affordable and it's great.
I like before we get to Oliver's question, because he's threatening me with penguins. No, I've always wanted to leave action, and there's something about the Marlins and just the way they work that just.
And it's also obviously pre-Remington. It's still an 80s model, so it's pre-Remington Marlin, yeah.
And then you've got the Colt Python, which is another you get what was the Taurus ripoff of that? It was the Taurus.
I'm not
was it
sure.
the Bull or something? Hang on.
I'm not 100% sure on the Taurus side of
because
things. Do you think I should? If the zombie apocalypse comes, do you think I should chrome it?
I think you should. Because by that stage, it's not going to make any difference. Let me just find this Taurus quickly. It was the Taurus. Oh goodness gracious me! How many inches was the Python?
It's 6-inch. You got it in an 8 as well, and a 4, I believe. Yeah, but this one's a 8-inch.
Taurus had.
Now I've got to plug in
the Raging Bull. But that was in 4.54 Casul, which is an interesting caliber. Now Taurus made a couple of big revolvers too. Cole, the Raging Bull. So sorry, just to get to Oliver's question, for getting the bend in the lens frames, do you use steam bending as with lithiering, or just gluing them in the mold and letting the ply keep the shape? Yeah,
it goes into a mold that I machined on the actual CNC, and then they go into a press. So they go into a 6-ton press and actually get, and it stays there overnight, and it keeps its shape. Obviously, with anything like that, it keeps its shape. It bounces back a little bit in the beginning, or once you've machined it, and then it stays there. So yeah, it actually goes into a mold, layer it, glue it, and put it in the press. And that's
Awesome.
basically that process.
Okay,
So
so
everything, all the components get manufactured on the machine as well, and then obviously they get put together, little temples and plates and everything like that.
Okay, so there you go, guys. If you like, Zaak is giving all his trade secrets away now. Like, we hope you're happy. Marika says you are a good metallic silhouette shooting candidate with your choice of firearms. You got a license, so she's got a baby Desert Eagle, so she'd know. So there's another thing for you to take up one day when you've got more money and time than you know what to do with.
For sure.
Go for that.
Definitely get into it,
Do you have a wish list of stuff that you'd like to add to your safe? I mean, we all do, but
to the safe, yeah, definitely a AR type variant of some sort. I've never really been a shotgun guy for some reason, not too sure.
Brian's fortunately not tuned in, because he would just have had a heart attack right now when you said that.
Maybe a Benelli or something along those lines would be great. But I think definitely an AR type rifle would be great.
I always punt the Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport 2 at people, because it's so bloody affordable, and it's reliable and awesome in its own way. So if anyone's watching, it's a good brand. Go for that. Unless you want to drop serious money on like a Daniel Defense or whatever, but that's up to you.
Yeah.
Maybe if we get Zaak to sell more sunglasses than he can make, he could do that.
For sure. No, let's hope it goes that way, and we'll see where this leads us. It's starting something from scratch. It's crazy actually if you think about it, and it's now in that period where the one business is not making money anymore, and the next one isn't making money yet. So it's literally in that bit of a dip. But I mean, we've gotten through it before with a good support structure and everyone behind you. Can't go wrong.
Yeah,
just have to
right now. That's exactly it. And I think with the way with my discussion with Mike Schisler yesterday, the one thing that I do take away from it is that the future is not quite going to be conventional employment in South Africa, because corporate SA doesn't have the capacity to really weather the storm. They've proven that, unfortunately. It's going to be individual people like you, like myself, like whomever else, pivoting into a form of entrepreneurship and self-employment, and that we're trading goods and services with the public who wants to buy what we're selling. And that's really where the resilience is going to be. And unfortunately, like it's a more of a learning curve. I mean, Paratus is not really in a position to make a hell of a lot of money. It can make some. New damaged eyewear is hopefully in a position to make quite a bit. And it's going to be to just keep pushing through this transition phase and making a success of it. And I think what you've got is an awesome product. From what I've seen. Really, and I mean, just the comment section just exploded with all sorts of like hotness when you brought it. Do you have some others lying around there by any chance that you can just show off?
Well, these aren't show offs, but this is like the first pair, and I mean the hinges don't work, but I mean that's something atrocious. But at this stage, it's just I thought keeping it simple in the start, and then you've got that scope to upgrade or to bring out a new finish, and that type of scenario. So it would basically be the apocalypse look, and then like I said, the rusty, which is the plain wood one, which a lot of guys seem to like as well. And then I'm busy working on some more ladies type finishes and things. I think it's kind of unisex, the shape actually, but looking at different.
No, it's definitely very unisex. Definitely,
So working with more blue stains, and there's like a deep sea green stain, but I'm not going to do that until I'm 100% happy with the actual look, and they're all kind of distressed, so you kind of sand them, that they actually look a little bit distressed. It's just the kind of look that I actually like, but I'll probably come up with something else.
Yeah, Kat says they're nice and androgynous, so Kat, what on earth is your logo? Green voices. Like, tell us a little bit, like in the comment section, what that means, because I'm really curious. Okay, the Bruce sort of thinks he saw it on Instagram. And he says, "Don't offend me with unisex." Graham says, "Not unisex, more like ultra sex." And Carl says he thinks he needs a Pirata's hat, hoodie, and glasses. So we've got the hat sorted, we've got the glasses sorted. Now we just need the bloody hoodies to happen. But don't worry, that's just like I'm.
Yeah, and that's another thing, that you experienced as well with going down the supply chain, is where problems actually happen. I mean, my lenses usually, when I order them, if I think the last time, well, before the last time I ordered on the Monday, and they arrived at me the Wednesday.
Yeah.
When now I ordered, they got here in March, and with lockdown, I couldn't they wouldn't deliver or anything. Eventually, I arranged to be a like essential making these things, which is
the shields. Yes.
Jumped on that bandwagon as well, but I think there's guys
Good
sitting
job.
with loads of stock with that now. So, but yeah, it was just the interim thing, and I think literally a month and a half after they were actually in South Africa, I could only go fetch the package. So yeah, that's the other thing. The wood, the guys are on like the supply on like minimum staff, but luckily they are operating, so I can get. Luckily also with sunglasses, you don't use a hell of a lot of wood. It's not like making a table, which is
no.
So the stock, if you buy it actually lasts quite long before you have to reorder. Another thing that I'm also looking at, it would be new damage eyewear, and then new damage creations, where I'll make once off maybe a resin table, wood / resin tables, furniture type stuff as well, and just do a once off, put it on the site and see if it sells, that type of scenario. Get into that. I love the CNC process so much that, always thinking of something to actually make on the machine. And that would be the next route to take.
Well, I think the glasses are definitely it. One thing at a time, but the glasses are major hit. And I'll pass on the orange lenses thing to those who want it, because Zaak can do that for you. By the way, Kat says Green Voice is about sustainable products. So apparently you're on the ticket there, Zaak. And the brew asks, are these the bendy glasses? And they're kind of bendy. They're sort of flexible.
In what way? Yeah, they can. Yep. Well, they're not bendy, but you can actually bend them. So it's obviously to a certain point until they break.
Yeah. Okay. So there's that. So
just that little bit back after it breaks, that's where up until where it can bend.
Yeah. So if you've got questions about Zaak's glasses, or about guns, or about anything really that tickles your fancy right now, I suggest you get in the comment section, you ask us. Oliver asks, have you looked into wooden pens? Seems like something which you'd be great at and would fit in with your plan for other creations. That's actually an interesting one. I quite dig that.
Actually, my cousin actually gave me a old wooden lathe. I haven't played around with it yet. With the CNC machine, obviously being a 3-axis, it's your X, Y, and Z. Making a pen on that, you'll need a 4th axis, which is your A axis. So on the CNC, that's not possible at this stage. I still have a servo motor lying around from a failed previous project that I can maybe turn into that. But otherwise I'm not going to sleep if I start talking about changing something and the ideas come up. I have to finish this first,
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Kat says lathers on the wish list.
Okay.
The Bruce is tactical anything is all the rage in America. So we'll get to that.
Just add the word, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we can add the word. I mean, the slightly distressed sunglasses are already called the Apocalypse. What do you call them? The Apocalypse glass. Yeah. So that's already like that fits the bill for me.
It might not be fitting. Well, it is fitting, but I thought, someone's going to get offended or whatever. But then I saw something with Elon Musk said he's calling something. I think it's a new vehicle or something, Apocalypse. And I said, nah, it's going to be fine.
That's going to be fine. I dig it. I love the fact that it's called the Apocalypse. So it worked on me. And Cole asks, what CNC do you have?
It's a Chinese machine. I bought it secondhand, so there's still money left from the press that I sold. It's Ruiji. They're actually quite well represented in South Africa, and it's the x-axis is 1,200 millimeters, y 1,800 millimeters, and then the z is 150 millimeters. It's got a 2.2 kilowatt spindle, so it's quite a big machine. Too big for what I do with the sunglasses, but it opens up the scope with tables and everything else. So it's good to have something a bit bigger than going too small.
So the Bruce says you should weaponize that Chinese government TikTok for some free advertising.
If I can figure out how.
Yeah, so if you guys have got some pro tips on how to do that, like let us know. Cole says he reckons that's a nice size. So thank you for the feedback. Any of you got any more questions for us? Because please let us know, because otherwise Zaak and I are going to start winding down. So I can do some editing, and you could. I presume you're working your bum off on product at the moment.
Yeah, I am. At night, I don't want to run the CNC till too late. Otherwise a car in or something might moan and put an end to the whole thing. But spend nights mostly in designing or trying different tool paths in Fusion, that type of thing. That's the main thing. Or do a tutorial or something along those lines. Trying to get Blender going for my videos, video editing software. Still not a pro in that, but we'll get there. And also I've made one with the Alice in Chains song in the background, and obviously posted it on Instagram, and obviously it was kind of banned because of the copyright thing. Didn't think about that.
Unfortunately, Anton Stegman isn't watching, because I would say to him, well, he needs to get in comms with you and get you on his CEO show. In fact, I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. Is what because he's all about like entrepreneurship and small business, and he still needs to make me an intro for my videos, but we haven't gotten together. He very kindly offered to do that. I just haven't supplied him with the material. So he might be a good guy to talk to, because he's got a lot of royalty-free music.
That's actually what I used. Downloaded one off a international site that you can use. It just doesn't fit quite as well as what you want to do. So that's
just to confirm for everybody, you're on Instagram at the moment. You're not just on Facebook. Yes. You're also on Instagram. Yeah. Okay, so you can find New Damage Eyewear.
At this stage, obviously, Facebook, the reach was quite a bit further than what Instagram is at this stage. As soon as I figure out the whole making it look nice, and that's what Instagram's all about. Not really the story that much. It's basically your photo skills that get you views and all of that. Yeah. And as soon as I get that also sorted out, I'm sure
you basically need to weaponize models. There are probably so many out of work at this stage. You just need to get an agency.
Not sure my girlfriend would like that, but we'll see.
No. Let her handle it then. Tell her, listen, here's like 3 glasses. You go find people to put this on and take provocative photos with them, and then you upload it to the Instagram account.
Yes,
there you go. Problem solved.
Better.
No, I think sure. If she's watching this, there you go. We are capitalists. We come up with great ideas, and the dodgy idea list is just laughing at us. But that's it. The Bruce says, do a making of series on Instagram, so to take through the process of making glasses. In fact, you have quite a few cool videos about how you do this stuff.
I posted one just before the stream. That if someone goes to the actual Facebook page, the video should be there, and it gives you quite an idea of a lot more goes into it beforehand. The prep work that you go into before it actually gets to the machining side of things. But that gives you a bit of an idea of the actual machining thing.
Perfect. You see, and your video, you sent me a couple. The videography is quite bloody good. I'm going to tell you that. So it's very cool. So go check Zaak's videos out, please. Go find his Instagram
Thanks.
account. Go check out his Facebook. I see Kat did find it. Kat, just a quick question before you bail. How did you find my channel? Did you find me before Jim, or did you find him after me? I can't remember how you ask that. Just as a curiosity, Daniel van Zyl reckons no copyright songs, NCS on YouTube, has got a library of non-copyrighted music. So one day when you're not busy working your butt off and you've got like an hour to waste going through all the songs, there's one option. I've done this before. It's quite a rabbit hole. I'm just going to warn you.
To do my own soundtrack or whatever, it will take me some time because I'm a bit rusty with the bass and guitar. But eventually, it would be nice if that was done as well. You know, it's something.
Well, tell you what. When it gets to that point, I'm going to hire you to make me a intro riff, whatever. But we'll get to that when one day shit calms down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so last question for you, actually. You've got a music background that I forgot about.
Yeah, I won't say a music background as such.
A little
played in
bit.
a couple of bands, late 90s, early 2000s. Our band was on a 5FM compilation CD. Played with one of the guys in the guitarist in The Narrow. The other vocalist is a jazz muso and tutor and all of that. But yeah, that's kind of more or less where it stopped for me. 2008 tried a band again, and it's a bit rusty, and that's it. You lose it definitely.
Yeah. Well, I still have a Fender Stratocaster that's standing in the corner there that I haven't played in 5 years, and I've been promising myself to take it up again. The major difference is you at least knew what you were doing at some point in your life with a musical instrument, whereas I never did.
I'm a bassist, so it's E, and it's the easiest thing to do. It's a bass solo.
Well, I tell you what, we'll talk music, and if it was good enough for you to play with the guy from The Narrow, then I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing. What Dodgy Idealist? I'm going to use thoughts for my religious videos. Oh God, I don't even know why I put that up. Dodgy, you're dodgy, but I love you. Anyway, so the Bruce says you went to school with Hanu.
Yes, I think we actually had a chat on your stream the other day, and I was Dion went to the same school as myself, and that's where we started our first band, and then after that he got the gig with The Narrow, and funny story, we've got like a joke between the two of us. When we were in the band together, I gave him my wah pedal, and on all the pictures he I always comment on his pictures and say, I can see my wah from here, and always give him crap about my wah, being on his stage. But I think it's living the dream. I mean, it's been on the same stage as Korn and all of that. If it stayed with me, it would have been in the closet and not being used. I let it go, and it's living its dream.
You've got a well-traveled wah-wah, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Keith got further in music than I did.
Keith is talking about you like you're a piece of meat. You need to sell yourself better on your Instagram.
That'll get there. I'm 42, so the Instagram thing is it's kind of goes over your head, but I'll get there.
You're extremely youthful 42. I'm going to give you that. If I can pull this shit off in 7 years' time, I'll consider myself lucky. A lot of lost days lost in Bentleys. Okay, I never went to Bentleys. That was before my time, I think, or maybe during.
Yeah, no, I spent most of my time started the doors in Marshall Street, Joburg, then Edenvale, and where most. Then followed the wherever live acts were, or whatever the case, copy. But no, won't survive that at all.
No, considering how horribly the previous copy went, with a whole bunch of people getting stuff stolen from them, I don't think that's. I don't think there's going to be too many more of those happening. Unfortunately, it's like a
Yeah, I know.
unfortunately, rock and alternative in South Africa, it's not a dying genre, but it's not remotely as prolific as it was when I was a bit younger, and that's
Exactly.
sad to me because that is the genre. I just can't get into um the electronic music has gotten better. It's got a bit more synth wavy lately, but there's a lot of stuff like I can't do the pop. What do you? So we're on
Yeah.
this topic now, and we've got a fair amount of time left. What do you
Cool.
listen
Yeah.
to at the moment? What's your go to bands? What are your go to albums? What always hits the spot
Yeah.
for you?
A go-to album would definitely be, well, band would be Tool. Big Tool fan. The prog rock type of stuff. Now I just discovered Tesseract, which is also kind of cool. But yeah, Soundgarden, that's actually where the name comes
Oh
from.
yeah,
Is, New Damage is from a Soundgarden song off
you
the Bad
told me.
Motorfinger album. Yeah, so that's basically that. So yeah, at this stage, it's mainly Soundgarden, Tool, that type of stuff. Also more of the heavier stuff, like Corn or whatever the case is. Quite a big, from Paul Jam to, like their Versus album was great. Alice in Chains, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, quite a few of those.
There's so much 90s in there. It's awesome, and
Exactly.
that was really a good decade for alternative rock and hard rock and that sort of stuff and
That's it.
prog rock too. Although prog rock was big in the 80s, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I only kind of recently got into that type of thing, where the guys kind of push the boundaries of, making music different, odd, time signatures. Like Tool would change time signatures in a song like you can't believe. But it's great, kind of, Slayer. Yeah.
So, but the brew likes Tool and love Lost Dogs. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's a lot of stuff out there. You tend to get stuck on the stuff that you've been listening to for years, and but there's actually some much more out there. So you have to discover when you have the time actually to it's like Gojira and Chevelle is a great band.
yes.
It reminds me of all the motocross days. When you get back from the track, you would pop in Chevelle, and yeah, it's like a
So I'm going to go check out Pineapple Thief because of this recommendation. I very recently actually discovered. Now, I mean, they've been going for ages. All That Remains. I quite like them. And bouncing off that, I discovered this weird industrial bunch from Los Angeles called Three Teeth, but they're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But they're very, very Nine Inch Nailsy, but like 1980s Nine Inch Nails. So if you like that type of industrial sound, that's going to be your gig. But if you don't like it, don't listen to it.
I spent quite an amount of time in Sub-Zero as well in Joburg. So that's all the more industrial goth type of stuff back in the day. Ministry, Nine Inch Nails, yeah, it's good.
They ever send you to Zeppelins or not? Not really.
I never made it there. When I was at varsity, we ended up, being in the res. You're not allowed in Hatfield, so you end up going to Scummy Side and all the places there. So I think it was Viper Room and Inferno, but yeah, I think Zeppelins was after my time. But,
why did they not allow you guys into Hatfield? What was up with that?
Yeah, it's the res thing, when you eerste jaar, that's the problem. So needless to say, I was there for 2 months and then became a daily.
I was about to say that solved that problem.
Yes, exactly.
But Zaak, on that bombshell of music, sunglasses, guns, manufacturing, entrepreneurship, we covered. Those are so bloody cool, and I'm definitely going to order a couple from you. We're going to make this happen, and thank you for taking time out of your day to talk to us about your.
It's awesome.
We can definitely do more than a few follow-ups on this because it's a more of a cool product and a cool topic of discussion. I dig it. And you must have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday, Klein Saterdag. And for all of you that
Awesome.
tuned in to watch this, thank you. And go check out
Thanks.
New Damage Eyewear. Go check them, find them on Facebook, find them on Instagram. You will find the glasses on Paratus hopefully soon to a degree as well. Zaak, we'll talk. And we're hopefully going to make a problem for you in the sense that you can get more orders than you can manufacture. So
Yeah, that would be a good problem to have, I suppose, right?
yeah, for a start. And on that
Yeah.
bombshell, everyone, thanks very much. Zaak, stay with me a second. When I end the broadcast, I'll say
100%.
cheers to you in the studio. But goeienaand, dankie, and bye-bye, guys.